is Studio Q, and Jenifer Lewis is in the house. How's everybody? All right now.
Studio Q show, now you know.
Yes, the web series is called Jenifer Lewis and Shangela. DJ Pierce met me while I was performing in New York with Meryl Streep in Central Park, the New York Shakespeare Festival. We were doing a play called Mother Courage and Her Children, Bertolt Brecht. And DJ found his way backstage after the show and told me he was my biggest fan and started quoting me the way everybody does and imitating my voice. And he was moving out here, and I had a college student living in my lower level. She was a summa cum double masters at Cal Arts. I try to help kids out. You know, if you got good grades and you need a little help, you know, I say, come on, you know. But she had moved out and I needed an assistant, so I said, DJ, come on, be my assistant. And then lo and behold, he goes on the RuPaul Drag Race show and he becomes famous, and all we do is clown around here, and people would see us clowning and they said, why don't y'all do a show?
Right.
And I told him, I said, I won't do a reality show, but if it's scripted, I can hang out. So I called Mark Alton Brown, D. La Duke, who wrote for Girlfriends, and you know, knew my voice on that show. And I also went to college with them, so they know my voice very well. And Deborah Dean Davis and Margaret Oberman, who wrote for Saturday Night Live, and Deborah Dean wrote It Takes Two. Great writers. I said, if it's scripted, I'll do it. So what the web series is it's an exaggerated version of us clowning around this house. That's all it is. And me accepting, you know, everybody being accepting of what people are, you know, when you're drag queen, transgender, gay, straight, you know, straight people are crazy, you know, can we get real? But just friendship and accepting people for who they are and having fun. He's climbing in your window, snatching your people up. I got up to get me a cold pop. I thought somebody was barbecuing.
Hi, I'm Sophie Grace, and this is Rosie Grace, and we're here to sing Supervise.
Now, what exactly is this?
This is the Cinnamon Challenge.
Oh, baby.
Oh, God. This one is for the boys with the boom system, top down AC with the cooler system.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus. It is a fire.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husbands too. We want our video to go viral.
No, honey. I don't know anything about a video. Didn't we make a motion picture? You will be mine.
Boy, you're gonna hold me running away.
You did your research. That's exactly what it's about. You know, just too often we're not aware of incorporating color in our lives, and that color being fun. You see how bright these colors are? I'm bipolar, and I was in darkness for a long time. So now that I've come into my own, having been in therapy and taking medication, I live a pretty good life. I'm level, and I'm grateful they've got something out there to help me. And too often, mental illness is taboo in our community. And you know, I sat across from the great one herself, Miss Oprah Winfrey,
60 million
and told
people.
60 million people I am bipolar, and I am. Ain't no shame in my game, honey. I know who I am. Well, I was in the back of the car and I couldn't wait to call my shrink and tell her something that's always been so hard for me to say. I was really proud of myself. When I sat down and talked to Oprah, there was a chair that I grounded my arm on. I mean, come on, you're sitting across from Oprah, just you.
Right.
And you're speaking about something that, I said to myself that morning, I said, in the mirror, I said, Jenny, This is not about the diva meets the queen.
Yeah.
You've got something real important to do today. And it was one of the greatest moments of my life. To be able to, have the fame and fortune and give back. Because so many people were there for me. And I'm going to give you a story. When I used to sit in front of the TV when I was a kid, sucking my thumb, cross-eyed, they would show those commercials of those kids in Africa. They were so vivid in those days. They'd have the flies on them and the big stomachs. And my whole thing was, if I can be famous, I can be rich. And if I can be rich, I'll give them some food. That was when it started. I wanted to feed those kids. I was just a kid,
Right.
We were Americans. We had food. I mean, I was poor, and I knew what it was like not to have food. I was never starving the way they were. So even at a young age, I wanted to give back. Well, I found out that I couldn't save the world, but I could save myself. And if I could save myself, because all we have is our story. You can't do anything for anyone if you're not healthy. Come on now.
Yeah.
So when I joined the Big Sister Big Brother program, it was me taking care of me. But of course, when I met that baby,
Charmaine,
my whole life changed. Her mother, after being her big sister for 5 years, her mother became ill with multiple sclerosis. So I adopted Charmaine, and before Charmaine, my life was money, men, and champagne. And then I saw her big brown eyes. Whew, baby, talk about a responsibility.
Yeah.
But I want to look in the camera and tell people, go and get a kid. You don't have to adopt them like I did. Just mentor them, Take them to the movies. Take them to Disneyland. Let them go to the cleaners with you. Take them fishing. Bake with them. Go and get a kid and mentor them. Be there for somebody. Charmaine did more for me than I did for her. I gave her a private school education. I did everything I knew to do. Because when I first got it, I used to call my agent and say, what do you feed these kids? From the grocery store, from the aisle. I said, what do you feed them? She had an asthma attack. I said, well, go in there and have some caviar in the refrigerator. That should fix your asthma. Girl, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was like, whoo, come on, Jesus. But
what did it bring out of you?
Well, it brought out the human side of me. I remember the first night she spent the night, and I was creeping around like June Cleaver. I didn't know I'd be nobody's mama. And I dimmed the lights. I had read to her. I can't even read. I'd read her a book, The 11th hour. She still remembers that night. Don't make me cry, girl. And when I lowered the lights, she said, hey, Jenny. Because my family calls me Jenny, And she said, hey, Jenny. And I thought something was wrong. I said, what's wrong, baby? What happened? And she looked at me with those big brown eyes. And she said, thank you. Child, I was cussing. I left the room and I was walking to my bedroom and I just started cussing. I looked up at God. I said, now you gonna tell me that this is what life is about?
Oh yeah.
You gonna make me feel these feelings? I was messed up. Cause I'd never, that moment when she looked at me, I think it must have been the first moment I knew what humanity was. To love a child. You know, I love show business, I love my family, I love my friends, but a child? Ooh, girl, because you know, I wasn't looking for a husband and children. I married my career and I had no regrets. You know, my career gave me joy, singing for people, performing for people, acting a fool. You know, it's what I did when I was a kid. I sang my first solo in church.
5 years old.
5 years old. And when I saw the reaction of the congregation, I said, oh, this is life. I guess I'll be doing this. You know? Everybody was shouting and crying, acting a fool. I said, how's everybody? I started singing again. God, you know. 5 years old acting a fool. Girl, you got me crying up here.
But Charmaine.
Charmaine will bring it out. Charmaine, my daughter. Ooh, honey, that. She will. Here, let me see this. Ooh, girl, hold on. Ooh. Ooh. There's some interview and shit over here. You know, we want to control our children. You can't. Nobody. Even if she'd come through me, she's not mine. Let people do what they want to do. Be quiet, Carla Renata. Actress Carla Renata is here, sitting over there with her mama, acting a fool. And I'm trying to concentrate. That's Carla Renata. That's my girl. But, yeah, Charmaine really changed my whole life. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for her. She's a good kid and just gorgeous as she could be. I wish she'd walk in here. She looked like Naomi Campbell. Oh, wow. Walking in a room like she Jenifer Lewis. I said, hey, come here. You walk in a room like you Jenifer Lewis, you make sure you put a smile on your face. Well, I'll tell you. I gave up a few times in my life.
But you didn't quit.
But I never quit. You gotta be in it to win it.
Right.
You gotta get up out of that bed and you gotta let the day unfold as it will. And know that it is your God-given birthright. Whew, just gotta chill on that. It is your right to make your own choices. But here's the ticket. You better take responsibility for it. Every choice you make. Young journalist was interviewing me, and you know, I was clowning around, and I just said off the cuff, I said, honey, I have touched bliss. And I went on and on, talking, and she said, Miss Lewis, did I hear you say you have touched bliss? And I was like, oh, she was listening. I said, yes, I did. She said, could you share with me how you did that? And honey, without pause or hesitation, I told her it was the day I looked in the mirror and took responsibility for every choice I had made, every choice I was going to make, and the choice I am making at this moment. You've got to take responsibility. Too often we point the fingers. That's what's wrong with us. It's not Obama. It's not Romney. It's not this one. It's not that one. It ain't your pastor. It ain't your teacher. It's not your the pilot on the plane, or the gardener, or the pool man, or the neighbor down the street, or your sister, or your brother, your mother. It's you. Look in the mirror and say, what was my part in that? Okay, I'm all upset, but what did I do? What did I do?
Studio Q.